Hi. So we all believe in education as one, if not the most important key to change the future and create a better one. And we all love it, except when we remember that hard quiz that we had to do, and we were really questioning the reason of life at that time. Well, yeah, so a disclaimer. This talk is not... okay, just nice like intervention. This talk is not going to be about the education system, how it is not very accessible, how it kills the creativity within us, or how it binds us to that dream job or that best grade. It's not about that. That needs another conference. But this talk is going to remind you about these innocent information that you have hated alongside with that education system. These innocent equations that doesn't only solve math problems, but also solve the problems of real life. So let me remind you that education is about learning, and this is how we learn from my point of view. We all go through loss. We all go through natural disasters, war, whatever kind of loss it was that. For example, I have lost my country. I have lost my community, my family, my support, my friends, everybody when the war started in Syria. It wasn't an easy thing, going to a new country and just starting from the beginning, from zero. You really needed that just boost to let you go in the right direction. And I was in the last year of high school at that time, and I remember a physics equation that I have learned at that time, which says efficiency equals useful work divided by the energy input. Okay, we usually read it as math equation, but let's read it as like real life problem. Your real efficiency in real life is really calculated as the ratio of your useful work divided by how much input, energy have you put into that. Another way education has intervened and changed my life was when I can say and I can describe it as the hugest loss I have been through. And it is a loss that everybody in this room have probably went through, which is the loss of a family member. My brother, who was also trying to study electrical engineering, he was on his journey to continue his education. And on the way, when he tried different countries and the education accessibility really failed him badly, on his next destination, on that trip, we have lost him. My brother has lost his life because of education accessibility. And at that time, I really needed something to give me that boost again. And I remember something I have learned at education, a religious education class, which is a verse in Quran. It says, "La yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa wus'aha." God never puts a burden on a soul greater than it can bear. And that is really what made me believe that there is nothing impossible. If it is not greater than I can bear, then yes, I can bear it, and I can go through it. And again, education worked. How about abilities? What about the loss of abilities? Do you think education can really do anything about it? Well, in 2017, I was accepted to come to Canada through WUSC, the World University Service of Canada. I came to University of Victoria doing my master's in electrical and computer engineering. Everything was perfect. And 10 months after my arrival, I have been diagnosed with autoimmune disease that caused me to lose almost all of my abilities as it affects the central nerve system. It's called multiple sclerosis, or as known also as MS. I was left bedridden for a while. I had to learn many things, from as basic as how to walk again to as complicated as how to work with a new label that was put on me as a person with a disability, a Muslim woman studying a male-dominant field, and the list goes on. And again, I was studying electrical engineering at the time, and if you know a little bit about electrical circuits, yes, you learn that if you want to connect from one point to the other, you have so many routes that you can take. And if one is damaged, you can just go through to the other one. And it is actually the same. If there is one wire damaged in your life, you can just take the other wire. Believe me, there are 90% of like the logical controllers is just wiring. So there are other wires. The list goes on of all the techniques that we can really use in our life. That was just science. You can, do you know how much we can do with art, biology, different sciences? It's just a huge amount of change that changed us before we really can change the world. So yes, you can change the world. My family has told me that when you are like, when they didn't decide to leave Syria until I finished my high school, I know now that they told me that a safe life without education is not really worth it. And now I know that when my brother died, when he was trying to continue his education, he really died trying to do the most honorable thing a person can do. And if somebody told you that you really don't have a possibility to do something, a math equation will say they're wrong. The probability of you changing the world is a 0, not impossible. Well, actually in math, it just means that it's 1 out of infinite number of possibilities. Thank you.